Okay, let's think back to when we were talking about our place value, right? And we said if we had 10 ones, we could bundle them up and make 110. And then if we got 10 tens, we could bundle those up and make 100, right? And if we got 10 of those, we could make 1,000. So I put this here, right? So 10 ones equaled 110. If we had 10 tens, then we had 100. If we got 10 hundreds, we actually had 1,000. So now, when we're talking about subtraction, we can also go the opposite way, okay? We can go in this direction. We can give some back if they need to borrow some, okay? So if I have 110 and I unbundle it, I can make 10 ones. If I have 100 and my 10 friend needs some over here, I can unbundle it and give them some, right? I can give them 10 tens. If I have 1,000 and they need to borrow some, I can unbundle myself and I can give them 10, right? So 100 would equal 10 tens, 110 would equal 10 ones, and so this is when we unbundle or we borrow. All right, so let's look at subtraction. I have my things handy already for us. Okay, so we're looking at a 2-digit number and we're taking away a 2-digit number. So if I look at 43, 4 tens, 3 ones, and 25, 2 tens, 5 ones. Notice the larger number is on top. That always has to be. All right, and again, remember when I said when we're doing subtraction, we always start in the ones. So I have my little piece of paper here, and I'm just going to focus on my ones, okay? So I'm looking up here, and I'm saying, oh, all right, 3 take away 5. If I were to look at even like the number line, 3, and I want to take away 5, right? 1, 2, uh-oh, what's happening here, right? So I want to borrow. So I'm going to ask my tens, hey, can you unbundle some for me? So we're going to say, okay, let's unbundle. All right. So we borrow from the 4 tens. So that gives us 3 tens. And we then unbundle and put that 10 over here. Okay. So now we should have the number 13. Take away 5. Okay. So what we did was we unbundled the 10. Right. So this became 4 because we're taking one of those 10s away and we're bringing it over here. Okay. So now we're going to take 13, subtract 5. All right, so maybe you're counting up. We can even put our paper back over here because we're just focusing on this now, okay? So we could say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So what did you come up with? Remember, you should be having a number in your head too. 7. All right, and you can count up. You can check, make sure. All right, good. So we're done with that. Move our paper over. And now we have 3 tens and we want to take away 2 tens. So come up with a number in your head. And did you come up with 1, right? 3 take away 2 is 1, right? All right, so that's what we did. And if we wanted to check it, we could add 17 plus 25. And I'm not going to do that right now because that would take a long time on this. But if you have your chalkboard or a piece of paper, you can check it for me. 17 plus 25. And you should come up with 43. That's the number we started with. Okay? All right, let's try another one. All right, so we're subtracting. I have 8 tens and 4 ones, so 84 minus 37. 3 tens, and 7 ones. Again, the larger number is on top. And I'm just going to start in the ones. So I'm just going to put my paper here for right now, okay, to see what I have to deal with. So 4, take away 7. And again, if you have a number line, you could use your number line. You could count backwards, right? So 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh. I had to borrow, right? I asked my neighbor, can I borrow a 10, please? So they say sure. So we're going to cross that out. And now we're going to have one less, right? We're taking one of those 10s away. So now we have 7 tens, okay? And we're going to take one of those 10s, unbundle it over here, and we're going to make that 14, okay? So this is what we've done. So now we have 14, cover that back up, 14 minus 7. So think, how are you going to figure that out? Come up with a number. If you know your doubles well, then 7 might pop in your head quickly. Okay, that's done. So I'm going to come over here. So now I have my 10s. I have 7 10s, and I'm taking away 3 10s. Okay, so we can go 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's my number, right? 47. And we're done. So again, I'm not going to do that for the sake of time, but people with a chalkboard or paper, add 47 plus 37, and you should come up with 84 as your answer. That's how you check subtraction, to see if you got the right answer. Okay? All right, let's try this. 91 minus 46. Again, my larger number is on top, and I'm going to start in the ones, just like I always do. So a strategy I use is to just take my piece of paper and block that, so I don't even worry about that. And then I just look and I say, okay, 1, take away 6. Well, I know 1 is smaller than 6, so that would just bring us into negative numbers, which third graders don't deal with, right? So we have to borrow. So I'm going to move my piece of paper and I'm going to say, hey, 10, can I borrow some? Sure, because we're friends, right? So they're going to take one of the 10s and unbundle it. So that's going to leave us with 8 10s here. And I'm going to unbundle. And I'm going to have my 10 back over here. So now I have the number 11. And 11 is bigger than 6. Right? So use a paper and count backwards, or you can count up, however you do your subtraction strategy. Think. I gave you a couple minutes so that you're not just waiting for me, right? You should be thinking. Because even if you come up with the wrong answer, you're thinking. All right, so 11 take away 6 would be 5. All right, then we're going to move over here. We unbundled, so we have 8 10s now. 8 take away 4. Come up with an answer. 4, right? So again, with your chalkboard, 45 plus 46 should give you 91. Okay. Notice we're doing the same steps, right? The larger number is always on top. We're starting in the ones. Now, if I had changed this number, let's just take a quick, let's move this over here, move this over here, get my little 1 over here. Okay, let's just put all that over here. Oh, let's just, all right, let's just say I changed the number. Let's say it's 98. So, okay, 98. 98 is the bigger number, right? We have 9 10s, 8 ones, 4 tens, okay, 6. So I'm still going to start in the ones. 8, take away 6. Oh, 8 is larger than 6. So if I have 8, I can take away 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 2. I did not have to borrow anything. I did not have to unbundle anything. So you're not always going to have to borrow. It's only when the number up here is smaller than this number that you have to do it. But it's not all the time. That's why you just check. All right? And then if we came over here, that number's still a 9. We didn't have to unbundle anything, right? So 9, take away 4. All right, if you have 9, now you should be having it in your head or doing this with me. Or you know what plus 4 equals 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 5. Okay? So that one, we didn't have to borrow or unbundle anything. It was just simple subtraction. We started in the ones, we moved to the tens. If there'd be hundreds, we'd have gone there next. All right, so let's look at a different one. We can have a hundreds number, take away this. So we have 567 minus 46. So I'm just going to get my paper because it helps me stay focused. And I'm just looking at my ones because that's where I always start. And oh look, 7 is bigger than 6. So I don't have to borrow anything. Oh, that's good. So 7 take away 6. Have a number in your head. 1. Great. Fabulous. Let's move to the next spot. Oh, look at this. 6 take away 4. Again, right? Remember, you could go up here. This could be mental math for some of you, right? 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your 2. Super. Well, let's see if there's anything else. Oh, I'm not done, right? There's a number in the hundreds. Okay, so I have 5 hundreds. Well, this number has no hundreds. So it's no different than me having a 0 here. Okay, I'm saying 5 take away 0. If there's nothing represented, and it looks like this, it means 0. So 5 take away 0 is what? 5. Okay, so that's our number. Again, people with the chalkboard and paper, 521 plus 46 should give you this answer. That's how you check your work. All right, let's look at number 7. Okay, I'm going to put my paper here, cover it up so I don't have to get overwhelmed with these bigger numbers. Oops, 6 take away 6. Well, they're the same. 6 take away 6. If I had 6 apples to take away 6, I have nothing left. 0. But I didn't have to borrow anything. Well, that's nice and easy. We move over here. 5 take away 4. Well, 5 is bigger than 4. Again, I don't have to borrow anything. I just take away. Have an answer in your head. 1. All right, let's go over here. Hundreds. 8 take away 3. Okay, so you could be using a number chart. You might know this in your head. The opposite, you might know what 3 plus what equals 8, right? You might be using your fingers. So, but you're coming up with something. So 510 is your answer. 510. So again, people that are checking, 510 plus 346 should give you this answer. This right here is what you should get as an answer. Okay. All right, let's try another one. Okay. So let's use our paper. 803 minus 41. Okay. So again, starting in the ones. Is 3 bigger than 1? Yes, it is. So it's not a biggie there. I can subtract, right? 3 take away 1. You might know this. You might use your fingers. 2. All right, so now we say this is, whew, we're moving right along. Oh, 0, take away 4. If I have 0 apples, I can't certainly eat 4 of them, can I? You can't switch the numbers around. You can't make it 4. You can't switch their places, right? There's no magic. I can't just say, oh, well, I don't like that, so let me put the 4 up here and the 0 down here. Kids try that sometimes. It's not going to work. I'm telling you. Don't try it, okay? No magical stuff here. You got to leave it like this. All right, so you have no 10s. That's okay, because guess what you do have? You have hundreds. So we're going to say, hey, hundreds, hundreds, hundreds. Can you borrow? Can I borrow? Can I borrow? Please, with sugar? Sure. I like the way you asked. That was very nice. Why, thank you. See, when you're polite, how things happen. So we're going to borrow. So that's going to give us 1 less. So we're going to have 700s. And Mr. 100 is so generous. He's going to come over here and now, thank you. You're welcome. Okay, so now they have a grand friendship. So now I have 10s minus 4. So let's say this is 10. You have 10 fingers, so you could use that. We'll use this as 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. All right. And that's done. And now we're here. Okay, so now we have 700s. This one doesn't have any that's showing, so we know that that's like a 0. So 7 minus 0 is 7. So if you add 762 plus 41, you shall get 803. Okay. All right, let's try this. 635 minus 47. Okay. Well, here's my paper. Just push it over here. Okay. So now I'm starting here. Very easy. Oh, 5 minus 7. Oh boy. Right? 5. I can't go 7. 1, 2, 3. Nope, not going to happen. And remember, no magic. Math is wonderful, but we're not doing magic. We can't just switch numbers around. All right? Someone that's 92 years old can't just switch the numbers around and say, well, now I'm 29. Woohoo. Right? No, you can't. You just can't do that. So you can't do it here either. All right? So we have to borrow. So we're going to say, neighbor, can I borrow some of your 10s? Sure. Now, 3 is less than 4, but we're not going to worry about that right now. We're just borrowing. Okay, we're just worrying about the 1s. So there's something to borrow. And the 3 is like, yeah, you know what? I know there's not enough of me yet, but don't worry. We'll figure that out after. Okay? We're just worrying about that neighbor right now. So that's a 2. And that's done. So we're going to move here. And we're going to put our 10 that we borrowed right here. Okay, so thanks, neighbor. You're welcome. So now we have 15 minus 7. Wow, we can do that. Just focus on one column at a time. We're just worried about the 1s right now. Don't worry about the 10s. The 10s were so generous, they unbundled themselves and they gave us a 10. So now we have 15. 15 minus 7. So you could be using the chart we gave you. Right? Some of you might be thinking, oh, well, I know my doubles. 7 plus 7 is 14. So I would need one more. So that's 8. Right? And some of you are counting up. So that would be 15. Now let's move over here to the 10s. I borrowed over here. Thanks, 10. You're welcome. Now I have 2 minus 4. Uh-oh. We don't have enough. What are we going to do? We're going to knock on the hundreds. Hey, hundreds, my friend. Do you mind? Can you unbundle a little? Can you let me borrow? Sure. That's what neighbors are for. Oh, thank you so much. See what's happening? We're all being kind. So this is going to become one less. He unbundled, right? So now we have 5. And they're going to generously give to the neighbor right here. That's going to become a 12. Okay, my numbers are a little, you can write them near each other, but that's what it's going to look like. Now I'll just go back over here. Okay, now this is what I'm talking about being neat. Here's another part of it, right? Mine are neat because they're computer numbers. But if you're crossing things out and writing ones over here and twos over here, and sometimes you forget what number is that supposed to be, and then you subtract wrong. So again, I know I say this a lot, but being neat, especially in math and in subtraction, you can know all your numbers, but if you're like, what is that number? And I don't want to go through all of that again. So be neat and space them out if you need to. It doesn't matter. Nobody said it has to when you're doing the work, right? So what are we coming up with? If we have 12 and we take away 4, what do we come up with? Have a number in your head. You might be counting out. You might be using the chart. Okay. And we have 5. There's nothing, so we don't have to borrow. We're good. It's just 5. Okay. So if you have to add 588 plus 47, you will get 635. Now, sometimes kids get annoyed because that's a lot of work. They feel like it's a lot of work. But it really is just going place by place. If you're starting there, 5, you can't take away 7. So you have to ask your neighbor, hey neighbor, right? They unbundled, they became 2, this became a 15. Then we moved here, then it was a 2 minus a 4. We couldn't do that, so then we had to ask our neighbor over here. He became a 5, and that became a 12. And then we were good to go because everyone cooperated with each other and shared, and it was great. All right, let's see. See, cooperating, being kind, it's good for everybody. All right, so we have 603 minus 29. So we're going to say, all right, I'm going to grab my paper. Put my paper. I'm not worrying about these other numbers. I'm just going to worry about the ones place. And oh no, 3 is less than 9. And I cannot do magic. I can't do a switcheroo. None of that. So I have to ask my neighbor. And you know what? We have good neighbors. They always let us borrow. No one's ever said no. So we're good. Well, oh no. Well, they can say no if they don't have it, right? But they're going to say, hey, don't stop with me. Let's go over here. Hey, neighbor, we need something. Oh, okay. So what's going to happen is 6 is going to become a what? This is the one that tricks up kids the most, this kind of problem, okay? But it's really not that hard. Just watch the steps. The 6 becomes a 5. All right? Now, why did that become a 5? Because it unbundled, right? So it's going to make its next door neighbor, the immediate neighbor. Oh, what just happened? Sorry. No. What? Oh, that scared me. I apologize. I don't want to start over. Okay. So I'll just start with this one over again, okay? We had the 3, and we could not take away 9. So we came to this neighbor. This neighbor was fresh out of eggs. No, nothing. Okay. But was kind enough to say, hey, don't panic. I'll go to my next door neighbor. So she went to her next door neighbor, which was the hundreds. The hundreds said, gladly, I will help you, tens. So hundreds became a 5 and made tens a 10. Thank you. Now, this is where I say, go back to your threes. Okay, we're still not ready. I still only have 3. All right, let me go back to my neighbor again. Neighbor, did you go shopping? Yes. Now I have some eggs. Now I can help you. I borrowed from my neighbor, but I'm going to help you. Okay. So now the 10 spot has enough to help the ones. Okay. So now the 10s is going to say, okay, I'm going to unbundle for you. Sure. Thank you. That makes me so happy. So this 10 is going to become a 9. Okay. Because now it just unbundled and it's going to help its next door neighbor that's been crying, help me, help me, help me, don't leave me out in the cold, right? That becomes 13. So now we've done a lot of work, but we're going to start right back where we were. Okay. 13 take away 9. Okay. We had to do some work. We had to go down the street a little, ask, hey, can I borrow some eggs? Oh, well, yeah, but let me get some eggs from my other neighbor. She gets them from the other neighbor. They come back. You ask again. Oh, now they have some, right? Now we can do the work. So 13 take away 9. Probably easiest case here is to count up, right? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 4. Now let's go back to the 10s. See, now we're ready to just do the subtracting. We did the harder stuff. Now we have 9 10s, take away 2. Okay, so here's 9, 1, 2, 7, right? And now 500s. There's nothing here. Boop. That's a simple 5. 574. And if you were to add 29, you would get 603. Okay, so again, paper helps so that you can go step by step. Okay, go one neighbor at a time, right to your next door neighbor. Don't jump neighbors. Okay, just go one neighbor at a time. If that neighbor can't help you because it has nothing left, then let that neighbor go to its neighbor. Okay, and then this neighbor will give this neighbor some. And now this neighbor has the ability to share. So now this neighbor can share with this one. Okay? So that's how it goes. So we'll either be doing a Google form or some iExcel or be taking some questions or doing some together. So good job. We will be chatting in a moment.